Hello everyone and welcome to the Deeply Renegade podcast. My name is Molly, also known as the Deeply Renegade, and I'd like to welcome you guys to episode 221. Today is Saturday, March 10th, 2018, and I'm glad that you can join me today. It is a beautiful day in Texas. What would it be? My peach tree is blooming, the trees are sprouting, life's pretty good. It's always really happy when, the weather's beautiful and you can be outside and there's actually time to record. So it's actually noon now, which wouldn't be when I would normally record, but I'm going to a party this afternoon, so I figured I would make the most of the sunshine. And then I'm drinking my white Rockley coffee Kona, which is pretty delicious. Would be maybe more delicious if I had made it in the AeroPress, but sometimes it's just not worth it. So, I think it might be a short show. We'll see. It doesn't seem like it was a very productive week this week. Well, okay. Well, there's not a lot to talk about, even if there was a lot done, because there's not a lot to say. So I have overfilled my poor Fat Squirrel bag with all of my bobbinses, because I didn't really have much that I could even take out. So I've only worked on one knitting project this week. I bet I didn't want to do that. Nope. That's the problem, is it's now getting to the point where it's a little too easy to pull my working needle out inadvertently, which is sort of unfortunate. So I'll try fixing that quickly. So I'm working on the 10-stitch blanket, which is a Frankie Brown pattern. She has all sorts of really great free patterns, and I've knit for my niece's baby blanket. I ended up knitting Squares on the Roll, which is also a Frankie Brown pattern. So this is how far I am. I believe last week I was some portion into my light teal stripe, and now I'm almost done with the teal. And hopefully the colors maybe come across a little bit better in the daylight. I don't know, it still looks a little dim. Oh well, I trust Instagram more than I trust here, but so I'm knitting it out of 3 colors of Cascade. So this is Heritage Wave, and it is a marl. This is Heritage Sock, and it is this sort of slaty blue color. And then this is Heritage Silk, and it is a what is it? My light teal. So with their powers combined, I have all of my different value changes, and I'm pretty happy with how it's coming together. So I'm almost to the color change. Probably 10 more 10 more rows, because it looks like I'm almost done with my colored thing, and then I'll be switching to the colored guy next. So I am preventing weaving in ends, though this is probably less important later on in the blanket, by just working all of the yarn at once. So this sort of gives me the flexibility if I want to maybe change the color blocks or just keep going with the color blocks that I have. But it's been getting most of my love this week. I need to figure out an easier way of keeping track of where my end is, so I stop pulling the double point out. It's hard to tell sometimes, but it's still pretty small. I haven't weighed my yarn yet, so I don't know how far in I am. I could be not very far in. And what would it be? I'm not quite sure how long it would take for me to knit 1,200 yards of fingering, so oh well. But the socks didn't get any love this week. I brought them, what is it, a night that I would normally knit. I had a networking event, so I brought the socks with me to it, but we were playing arcade video games, so there was no need to knit. So the other thing that I ended up finishing up last night was I finished my singles for my Nest compost bin. So this has been a project that's been ongoing since January, and I must have really misestimated how much is fibers on each of these bobbins, but here are my 3 full bobbins, and then I have 1 partial bobbin, so this is all 20 ounces. So I had started this guy and maybe was somewhat into it last week. Or what is that? I probably showed you the beginnings of this one last week. I was able to fill this guy up. I could have maybe filled a little bit more, but whatever. And then I have filled this guy up as well. So, well, no, I haven't filled this up. I've spun the remainder on here, which I think was about 2.5. It's not a full bobbin at all. And there's a lot more orange in this one, because for some reason the Aminar colorway is like orange and merino silk, so it was always a very different spin than the rest of it. So it seemed like I was like trying very hard to spread it out, but I didn't do a perfect job. I also had a decent amount of the poppy left over, and that was a superwash merino, but I think I broke that into smaller pieces than the rest of them, accidentally. So I have 4 bobbins. I'm planning on making a 3-ply, and I have 2 empty bobbins so far. So I think I can probably make this work. It's probably going to involve alternating. That's my assumption right now. So what I'm not sure about is, so let's say I think my game plan is going to be pick 2. Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know if I want to sort of spread it out, and so I have a little bit, because I want to empty this guy first, so I don't know if that's the case where I just sort of alternate between the other 3 bobbins in order to ply it. But I think I'm going to put them on these so that I think I'm going to put these on smaller bobbins so I have more skeins, so if I need to do any funny business it'll be a lot easier because it won't be one monster skein, as you do. So I think I'll make several of whatever, probably these 5-ounce skeins. I don't even know. I must have put more on that though. So like I think I was very close to actually putting 6 ounces on each one, which was more than I thought I could do. I have put 5 ounces on these bobbins before, so I guess it's possible that the alternative could have also happened, so I'm trying to find the best way to show. So, oh, it's so close. Alright, we'll make it work. So, and I think this is the first time I probably podcast outside with these guys, and I need to figure out a way to show all at once. We'll see how it turns out. What would it be? It's definitely very much so like sunset colors, so all of those oranges and purples and blues and pinks definitely remind me of sunset colors for sure. And I just have no clue how it's gonna turn out. I won't know till I start. I was contemplating starting, and then I realized I just wasn't going to podcast at all if that was the case. And then it was going to be in the dark, and I couldn't show you what the colors looked like, and it wasn't going to be a good look. So I'm hoping that I can, by emptying the small one, sort of keep enough empty bobbins going that I'll be able to fit it all on my smaller ones, because I only have 6. I had the 4 that came with the wheel, and then I bought 2 Anchorworks ones at SSK last year. That was, what was it? I missed that out on SSK 15, so, oh well, such is life. Based on how gorgeous it is today, maybe it would even make sense to just be sitting out here playing. It's pretty wonderful. Let's see. Ah, you can do it, phone. Oh. Okay, we made it better. Now I'm just being full of slowness. So it is currently 74. And it's supposed to be partly sunny all day. Tomorrow will be 62, so it won't be nearly as nice tomorrow. So, what I ended up doing this morning was I made waffles. I did overnight waffles. It was the Dear Sweet Lovable One's birthday this week, so I figured that would be a pretty nice thing to do for that, because you have to think ahead when you're making overnight waffles. And then after, we thought there was going to be company, but then there wasn't company, so waffles went much faster, so I ended up walking to Michael's, because it was such a beautiful day, and got supplies to make stitch markers. So, it turned out that they were having a bead sale, so I ended up getting I ended up getting 7 strands for 39 cents, and other ones too. So it was sort of a mixture of things. And even the normal beads that weren't on clearance were still, like half off anyways. So, I ended up picking up a variety, because I was feeling inspired. So I tried to get, I'm trying to think of, like, what would it be? So like neutral, smaller beads, some more bright, let's see if I can't get this mostly organized. Here we go. Some more bright and shiny smaller beads in various colors of coordinating. Some actually seed beads for sparkle, and then I got my main beads, which I went maybe a little bit crazier than I should have, but such is life. So I picked up a few that were blues, and I just really like these clay-like ones. And then I got, what was it? These guys too. So, pinks and neutrals as well. And I was originally planning on whatever, getting things that would coordinate with my extra, turquoise, because I do love turquoise a lot. Yeah, so I think that's everything. And then I already have all my beading wire and stuff like that here. So the plan would be to sort of have like a big bead and then smaller ones. Oh, we got some jump rings, got some other beading wire. I've got my bag of regular beads. Trying to figure out what else is. I had sort of organized a bunch of different things in here. So I don't know if I will also use these smaller beads in there or not, but I certainly have plenty to go around. And maybe this is the case where I've actually screwed up and I'm going to have to go back and get more clamps and shells. It's starting to look that way. Or what is it? So I have crimps and then I have crimp covers. So I think I am insufficiently crimp covered for how many beads I ended up getting. So not too crazy, but I have, what is it? A variety of bead wire and that sort of thing, so shouldn't be too crazy. So I might also just hang out doing that outside too, because why would I not be outside on such a beautiful day as today? And then it was nice because I ended up, what was it? I have my stainless steel cable cutter, so hopefully that's going to help make more beautiful cuts, and my pliers. So I should have everything I need. So why did I go a little bead crazy? So in less than a month, it's going to be DFW Fiberfest, and I'm going to be doing the stitch marker swap. So I knew so I'd made stitch markers for SSK, and that's how I got all of my crimps and covers and that sort of thing. For which I'm going to have to go back and get more. I didn't think about that. And then, whatever, I wanted to make some for that, and then I ended up just having a lot of fun picking out various things to go together, so I'll have to work on that one, I guess. Figure out what the appropriate length of whatever stitch marker is going to be and that sort of thing. I'm sure it's not going to be too hard to do, because I did have some pretty good, what is it? Or I still have some of my stitch markers from that swap, so it shouldn't be too crazy. And then I'll throw them on a jump ring, and or a couple of jump rings for that. I am really excited about Fiberfest. I'm going to be taking 2 classes, one of them all day, one of them I think on Sunday. Actually it's Saturday. I think it's a Saturday morning class, so no sleeping in for me. I'll be taking an all-day drum cutter class with Clems and Clems, which is the father-son duo that makes drum cutters. I will be also taking a Jillian Moreno class, so about grist. So I probably need to pull out my skein of yarn that I wish had been the right grist. And the thought, whatever, I think the point there was to learn how to spin the density of yarn that you want to spin. And then all of the fun shenanigans therein. So a decent portion of my knitting group could meet, so we were trying to figure out, like, okay, are we making reservations at the restaurant? How many people are going to be coming? And all that fun stuff. So we're getting excited. So the plan is probably to spend Friday night and Saturday night knitting at the Marriott, which is the convention hotel. And then all of the events are happening at the Irving Convention Center. I don't know if anyone who watches the podcast is going to Fiberfest, but I will be at the Podcaster Meetup. What would it be? Sometimes it's a little funny when you're at the Podcaster Meetup, you're like, we're all podcasters, hanging out with each other. It would be fun if it was more than just our podcaster hanging out with each other. Although it is fun to hang out anyway, so it's not like it's that crazy. Yeah, not too crazy. I'm getting into a sweater mood, so I think when I finish the blanket, that's probably going to be the next thing that goes on the needles. For some reason, that is what is inspiring me right now. So, but until I get the blanket taken care of, like, oh well. So, that might be getting lots of my love for the foreseeable future, because what would it be? Yeah, I have until the third week of May. So, hopefully that's not too crazy. Okie doke. I should be able to record next week, so that will either be the 17th or the 18th. I'm not planning on getting into any St. Patrick's Day shenanigans, so it should be okay. What would it be? The big Dallas thing is actually like a 5K run, which is just full of shenanigans, as you do on St. Patrick's Day. So, with that, what is it? I have a question. I do have a question. So obviously I talked about, what's inspiring me right now is like being able to start a sweater. What's inspiring you guys right now? What's the project that you want to get onto the needles next? I'm curious about what's inspiring you guys right now, because I think there's a certain aspect of like spring and castanitis and oh dear God, why is winter not over? I need some bright colors in my life. So, I can be smug now and you can be smug in July. When I can't bear the thought of wool touching my body, it'd be like, yeah, it's okay. I'll have to be knitting with linen instead. So, with that, I hope you guys have a lovely week, and I look forward to talking to you guys next week. So, take care, guys. Bye-bye.